Three ways to market your business online. And these are all three free ways. So everything we're talking about today, the first three items we're talking about are all 100% zero cost to you as a business owner. The only exception is your time. There is a little bit of that in association with this. So um, the voice you're hearing, I'm Joshua Maddux. I'm founder and CEO of a company called 95 Visual. I've had over 10 years of experience, been doing this about 13 years now, 12, 13 years, um, helping companies basically grow their business and maintain a better web presence. Basically, that means that I help build websites, marketing, content strategy, search engine optimization, and a ton of other stuff. We work with clients of all shapes and sizes, from single owner businesses that have a very small marketing budget or no marketing budget, to large education enterprises and other fairly large businesses as well. I have a team. My team is all located in the Los Angeles County area. We service clients throughout the US. So awesome. So, what are we going to learn today? So, today we're going to look at how to increase visibility online without spending anything so that you can grow your business. And so, today's agenda, basically, we're going to talk about how to get found, why showing up in Google matters, how to get validated, and why what other people thinks matter, and then how to sort of get followers. What does building that following look like, and why growing your following online is important. And then the other and final element is get going, and why starting now is so important in the marketing aspect. So, why is this important to your business or to you right now? So, most marketing we've learned as small business owners is so wrong. The aspects and so much of the concepts that is taught online about marketing is utilized for Fortune 500 companies. And so how how Amazon is marketing a new product or how Disney is marketing a new movie is never going to work the same for a small business unless you have literally millions of dollars to spend. And so, unless you have a massive budget, which you probably wouldn't be on this call otherwise, um, you know, we really need to change the mindset of how we're marketing. And so with that, more people use the internet today than ever before. And so looking at the internet as a incredible space to continue to expand your reach. If you have a physical location, that's a great thing to utilize to expand your reach. Also, if you have just an online store, that's awesome as well. And again, you're super reliant on that reach. So I know we're talking a little bit about both brick and mortar and online, but 84% of local businesses are found via Google search. And so you start looking at how important it is to make sure you're showing up in Google search and in online searches as a whole. And really, this is important because most small businesses don't have $1 million to spend on marketing. You don't have an unlimited marketing budget. Your marketing budget's probably about the same as your coffee budget in most small businesses. So a few house rules I want to go over. We'll be mainly talking about already established businesses. However, don't leave if you already, if you are a new business. If you're just starting out, this is still relevant to you. If you do a lot of this stuff as a brand new business, this is really going to help kickstart your visibility online. And so this is still super critical if you're a new business, but a lot of what I'm talking about works a little bit easier if you're already established. Second element is I cannot make you $1 million today. There's so many webinars. It's like, come on our webinar, we're going to make you tons of money. That's just stupid. It's not going to work. But what we're looking at is making an incremental change and really helping improve your business over time. And so small changes consistently do a huge service to your business, and it's really, really good. So again, if you're looking and expecting to get rich by the end of the webinar, leave now. It's just not something that's going to happen. Cool. So let's dive in and chat about really how customers find you. Um, so traditionally, people look at a small business, and oftentimes business owners think through that, whether it's a keyword search or referrals or, local radio ad or your website, Google, Facebook, newspaper, all of these elements lead and sort of funnel to your business. And that's typically how someone thinks through the process of how someone finds, their business online. And so this is true for both online and storefront businesses. However, the key element that we're looking at here, and the key element we're actually missing, is there's something between your business and that keyword research or that, referral, or whatever those ads are. There's an element between that, and that's really could be your website, it could be your Facebook, your Google reviews, a personal reference, or a Yelp review. And so when someone gets a personal referral, they don't just pick up the phone, call you, and buy the service. They may Google search the business first. And so you want to think through, like, how do you, as just a consumer, how do you, find a business, and how do you look for a product? And the process that I'm describing here is probably super, super familiar. This is exactly what we all do as consumers. And so with that, let's say someone is looking for, let's use a dentist. So we're going to look at some keyword searches of, a dentist. Now I'm going to note the keyword search volume. So the numbers in the right column are all 100% these are all California based. We're going to dive down, sort of drive these numbers down and look at Los Angeles numbers here in a moment, but these are California. And so if I look at this number in total, all summarized: dentist, dentist near me, dentistry, dentist emergency, and dentist for children, this is monthly search volume in California. That's 341,000 searches in the state of California every month. So if we divide that out by the population of California versus Los Angeles, we're looking at, in LA, about 34,000 searches a month for the keyword dentist. So that's a huge number. So, and I'm flying through some of this because I want to get to the meat of what we're talking about today. And so using that 34,000, so 34,000 people search for dentists in the LA area. And if you ranked number one on Google, you would get about 14,000 visitors. So let's say we rank at the bottom of the first page, and that's, 2,700 clicks to your website every month. And so with an average of about 2,761 new prospects from Google every month, that's 33,000 new prospects every year. And so now you're probably saying, stop, I'm confused, just stop talking. How am I going to deal with 33,000 new customers every year? I'm a small business, I don't have that staffing. For some businesses, just dealing with 1,000 customers in a year would be crazy. So I'm not saying we're getting 33,000 new customers. And again, going back to that, sort of first element that I was talking about, like, I'm not looking to make $1 million off of this single call. What we're talking about here is what would happen if you got 1% of that traffic. So 1% of being at the bottom of Google would still be 331 prospects in a calendar year. So all of these numbers, all of this information sounds amazing, except for the fact of how do we get from not showing up on Google to actually being there? And that's really where, we get into today's conversation. So we're going to look at Google search, but first I want to make a small detour and talk through something called local guides. So I myself, I'm a Google local guide. I Basically, all that means is I've left a lot of reviews on businesses on Google. In total, I've done about 140 reviews, 104 ratings, which basically is 1 to 5 stars without actually any text. I've added 156 photos, answered 1,700 questions, made 59 edits to businesses, added 3 brand new businesses, verified 174 businesses, um, and all on Google Maps. Now, it sounds like I might spend my whole week just sitting on Google Maps all day making edits to them, but this is all data that I've done over the past few years. Now, the one thing I want to focus on here is the 140 reviews. So 140 reviews have been seen 44,000 times in total. Now, those 156 photos, they've been seen 670,000 times. That means that every single review I've written has been seen 300 times, roughly on average. But the photos I've posted have seen over 10 times that. They've seen 4,200 views per photo. So, how does a business control these photos and these reviews? And so, looking at the 316 views that I get on every review I leave and the 4,200 views on the photos, how do we control those views? And how do we control, what people are posting about your business? And that's where Google My Business comes in. Google My Business is the #1 source used to find local businesses. And so back at the beginning of the conversation, when I was talking about, you know, um, the very large number, 80+% of businesses that are found online are done through the Google My Business platform. And people oftentimes don't even realize they're doing it. And so um, basically, this automatically, if you're in Google My Business, this automatically will show you on search results, even if you don't have a website. And so this is part of Google My Business that we're going to focus on mainly, this part. Now, this shows up in Google search. So if you go to google.com and you type in dentist, or this one, I just did carpet cleaner near me, and this is what showed up right below the ads and above the organic search. Now, keep in mind the search numbers that we were talking about earlier for dentist in Los Angeles, that was 14,000 searches if you were at the top. So if this map listing is above the organic search, that means that this map listing may be getting more traffic than those 14,000 clicks a month. And so how do we get in this sort of what they call the pack? And so that's the aspect, that we're really diving into, is focusing on getting higher listings inside of things like Google Map listings. So why does this matter? Why does showing up in Google and showing up in map listings really matter, other than the fact that we're going to get more traffic? The average business gets found about 1,000 times a month. 84% are new people. These are discovery searches, and we talked about that at the front of the call. So how do we improve the odds of showing up? And that's really the big key factor, is photos. So we looked at, if I leave a single review on a business, I get 10 times the visibility if I post a photo. And so the more photos that are shown on a business and the more the business has photos, the more they show up. There's been tons of studies that have been done on this very recently, by companies like Bright Local and a few other ones as well. Bright Local tracks and monitors Google search for Google business listings across tens of thousands of different businesses and across tens of thousands of different cities, and they look at all the different stats on that, and they have proven basically how many photos does it take to show up more. So if you have about 1 photo on your business, so maybe you have a Google business listing, Google Maps listing, and you only have one photo, you're going to get about 650 views on average to your business listing in a given month. If you have 100 photos, it instantly goes to like 20,000 plus views on average for the business listing. And so this is a substantial difference. We're not talking like 4 times, 5 times. We're talking 20 plus times visibility on a map listing, showing up above the organic search. And so if you're going to show up 20 times more with those photos, this is looking again at the dentist aspect, you're talking 14,000 views. You're going to capitalize on that, and the traffic you're going to get to your website is going to be substantial. And I'll actually show a live demo here in a few moments, walking through one of our clients and sort of how they are seeing visibility online. So if you have a 5% click-through rate to a website or call rate by someone clicking, on your phone number on Google Maps or on Google search in the map pack, whether that's on a mobile device or desktop, 5% means if you have one photo, only 32 people are clicking to your website in a month. 100 photos means 1,000 visitors. If you convert 1% of that, one photo means you're going to convert one customer basically every 3 to 4 months. 100 photos means you're going to convert 10 customers in a given month. So these are substantial differences. And this is why, making sure you look into this information more and making sure you really know where you're marketing that is key. Now, keep in mind, we're just talking about Google. These are just Google metrics. If you also did this same thing for Bing, for Yelp, for Yellow Pages, for every other directory site, this is going to also increase your listing there. Now, I will add some sites don't allow you to add more than 5 or 10 photos, but they do place preference on listings that have photos or are fully filled out, whether that's adding a description or anything else. So how do I add photos? Step 1, you need to claim your listing. And so there's other reasons that you want to claim your listing. For example, you can control it. You can decline other suggestions and changing things like your phone number. Anyone can go to Google Maps, go to any business and suggest that the phone number is wrong, suggest that the address or the hours of operations, or say that the business is closed in general. If you don't claim your Google Maps listing, I can suggest that your business is closed. And if you don't decline that suggestion, then your Google Maps listing is going to show up closed and no one else is going to be able to see your business. Or someone who Google searches your business, they'll see that your business is permanently closed and they'll go on to your competitor. The other thing that you're going to be able to do is get notifications about reviews. You'll be able to add new photos yourself. Customers can also add photos. You'll be able to post updates about your business. We do this typically 1 to 2 times a week. It's just another way of continuing to get information on Google about your business. You can answer questions. Anybody can go to Google Maps, go to Google search, type in your company name, and ask a question on Google about your business. And if you don't answer that, someone else can. And so let's say you're a dentist and I say, do you take insurance? And someone else says, I don't think they do. Well, now anybody who's looking for a dentist that takes insurance instantly discredits going to your business and finds someone else who does. And so these are, again, elements that can affect how many people click to your website, how many people pick up the phone and call you, and how many people end up paying you and becoming a customer. You can also respond to messages. Someone can actually message your Maps listing. Now, I will note that if you haven't claimed it, the messaging function is disabled by default. And so you do have to enable that function once you claim your listing. Awesome. So how do you claim a business listing? So I'm going to do a live demo. I'm going to switch over to a different tab here in a second. Please note, that I will send steps on how to do this after the call. And so that way everybody will have that as well. So I Google searched dentist near me. I came up with this listing locally. I'm in Santa Clarita, California, and so this listing is close to where I am here. And so right here, underneath the address, the phone number, and all this other stuff, I can suggest an edit, and anyone can do this to any business. But this little button right here, own this business ? That means that this listing is not claimed. And so all I have to do is click that button and either verify typically one of two ways. If Google has a phone number on file, they'll typically allow you to have a text message or phone call to that phone number. And then they'll give you like a 4-digit PIN, you punch that in, and then you've claimed the listing. The other method, if it doesn't have a phone number or Google's not entirely sure if it's your phone number, they will mail you a postcard to your house or to that address that's listed. And then that typically takes about 5 days. And then from there, you're able to go back online and you're able to enter that information at a later date, that PIN number, and claim your listing. So the steps are pretty easy. Google search your business, and then you'll find your listing here. And then you can say, if the own this business link is there, click on it. If it's not, that means that someone else has already claimed your business. And that can be a problem. If you're the business owner and someone else has claimed your listing and you have an office manager or marketing manager, double check with them first. But there are other steps you can take to sort of regain control of the business listing. And I'll definitely include some of that information in the email follow-up after the call. I also will include at the very bottom of that email, I'll include a link for anyone who wants to schedule like a 30-minute call with me to walk through any of this to help you through this process. I have no problem popping on a call and sort of helping you through that process at no cost. So I want to look at some of the locations. This is a handful of the locations that we manage. Some of these haven't been verified. Some of them we're working with clients to verify. So hopping over to a live location, this is an actual client of ours. They recently moved locations. So one of the things that we did when they moved locations was, because they're a paintball field, we actually went through and cleared out the photos, specifically because we didn't want to misrepresent their we didn't want to misrepresent their data online, and we didn't want to show that they had specific fields when they didn't. And so they see about 17,000 views in the past 28 days on their listing. And we'll get into actually how many photos they have here in a minute, and take note of this. So they have on Google search, they're seen about 3,000 times on Google search. On map listing, they're seen about 13,000 times, and that's the map view that's in the Google search just below the paid ads. They've had 381 people directly look up their business by typing in the business name. They've had 12,000 people search them by discovery. Out of the 17,000 people that have found them, 8,000 people have taken action. 92 people have visited their website. 12 have placed a call. And this, keep in mind, the placing a call is if they are on a mobile device and they click the call button on the Google Maps listing. 8,000 people have viewed photos, and about 37 have requested directions. And so the one thing I want to look at here is how many photos they actually have. That's it. 3, 6, 9, 12. This listing has 12 photos and has 17,000 views in a given month. So if we went from, if we pushed this and had 100 photos on this map listing, they would start to get substantially more traffic. And so that is something that, This is a new facility, like I mentioned. They've only been here for about 6 months. We are working with them to get some additional photography and that type of stuff. But look at the views on some of these photos: 21,000 views, almost 1,000 views, over 1,500, 2,000. And so people are looking at these photos to understand this business and to see if this business is someone that they want to work with, or if this business, offers the services for them. So for my business, we're a web design and marketing agency. And so for us, I'm going to show our page. We have less views. We don't have a brick and mortar that we advertise. And so we definitely have a little bit of a lower activity. But for us, we get about 370 views in a given month on our photos. And so again, our photos, we don't have a ton. We have, a decent number. Most of, the past, I would say, 6 months or so of projects are on here. And these get, a handful of views every month. And they're not, not substantial, but it's definitely enough that we hear people, that tell us that they saw us on a Google search and these photos showed up. And so where I want to look here is we have an actual dentist client. This is their map listing. They've got a decent number of photos. The other thing that you can do in Maps is you can add products. So these are all of their services that they offer. These are subcategories. And so from here on Google Maps, someone can see, oh, they do fillings or they do crowns, and they can see all of this information right here on Google without even, going any further into their website or anywhere else. And so this is just an added value that Google continues to provide with inside of the Google My Business portal. So like I said, I will be sending out sort of a recap of the how to claim your business and that type of stuff at the end of this call. And then I will also include that link for those of you who would like to book a time to sort of chat through this further, and we can help make sure you claim that listing as well. So some things that you want to add to your Google listing: definitely adding a cover photo. A cover photo is the primary image that's sort of here that's seen. Having a profile photo, a company updates, posting company updates, responding to and keeping track of questions and reviews. Encourage your customers to leave reviews. Adding a description about your business. Adding a video is also super, super helpful. So we're going to talk about validation and what that looks like on Google. So going back to the Google Maps listing, we're going to take a look at that here for a second. So looking at this, and this is the carpet cleaning Maps listing that we pulled up here a little bit ago. There are 3 separate businesses that are listed here. And I want to take a quick poll. And who would you, out of that last listing, actually, give me 1 second here. Out of this listing, looking at number 1, number 2, and number 3, which listing would you call first? So I'm going to go ahead and relaunch that poll. So think of which one, number 1, number 2, or number 3. And there we go. So go ahead. You should be able to hit 1, 2, or 3 on there. Oops, did that work for anybody? It's not pulling up. There it goes. It looks like the poll may have not gone through. Okay, we're going to ditch the poll because it looks like it's not working. It's not even letting me connect to it. Cool. Okay. Oh, there we go. That works. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Perfect. Yeah, apparently the poll did not work. But chat works awesome. So yeah, obviously number two. Number two is typically the response here for multiple reasons. One, they have 5-star review. They're, now looking at 2 versus 3, if I needed someone right now, I did this the other day. Took the screenshot the other day at maybe it was like 6 o'clock at night. So the second result here was actually closed. And so the third one was open until 11 p.m., but they only have 3 stars and 2 reviews, and probably, it's a little bit of a gamble. The first one, we have no idea. Don't have a website. They have no Google reviews, no nothing. So obviously, everybody talks about and says number two. So, but why did we choose number two? So 95% of searches are for local businesses online. 91% of people read online reviews and care about them. Most consumers look at 2+ review sites before making a decision. And I know for me, I'll talk with small business owners all the time and I'll bring up Yelp, and everyone's like, Yelp's the devil. I hate Yelp. And yes, but if you don't pay attention to Yelp and you have 2 negative reviews on Yelp, and your Google Maps listing has 5 stars, then what's going to happen is someone might look at your Yelp and see that you have, some negative reviews, and they may not, contact your business. And so you may lose out on that. 84% of people trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. And I will say I've been recently doing a survey with some small business owners and talking specifically about, like, hey, how do you find restaurants, or how do you find, this? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh yeah, I look for, which one has the highest reviews. Except that same small business owner is also talking about, yeah, I don't know about reviews online. We don't really care about it, or we don't ask for them. 73% of consumers think that reviews that are older than 3 months aren't relevant. And so what does this mean for your business? If you're not online, only 5% of people are looking for local businesses might find you. So that means 5% of people are then using something like the Yellow Pages, or, and I'm not talking yellowpages.com. I'm talking the physical Yellow Pages, or they are, finding recommendations elsewhere. And only 9% of people aren't looking for or don't care about reviews that's going to call you. So we're talking, massive amounts of business that businesses are losing if they don't care about their online reputation, and they don't care, about reviews. So how can you, or how can we fix this problem? And it's simple: ask customers for reviews. Now, obviously, if you, um, you know, don't have great customer service, then it's going to be a problem. And so obviously, a business needs to go above and beyond, needs to have good, solid customer service, to be able to, reach out and say, hey, we're open to having anyone review us. Now, the one thing I will say is, please don't review your own business. Don't ask your employees to review the business, and don't ask friends who have never done business with you to review the business, because your employees, or you as the business owner, when I go to look for a business and I click on a review, there's a profile photo. And if that review that I read, and then I walk into the brick and mortar, and that's the person who's behind the desk, things are getting a little fishy. And if it's people who've never done business with you, but they don't really understand what you do, and the review sounds something like, yeah, Bob's a great guy, I've known him for years, you should hire my friend. It's like, okay, well, what does Bob do? What's the services that he's offering? Make sure those reviews are authentic, they're real, and they're actually from customers. This can be as simple as adding a line to the bottom of your email that says, if you love what we do, leave us a review. It's a super easy tagline, and that can link to your Facebook page, your Google Maps listing, that can link to your Yelp page, or you could put all 3 of those links right below that line. Send past customers and clients an email asking them to leave a review or provide feedback on the services you offer. And post your business Facebook page, post on your business Facebook page asking for reviews, asking for people to, help sort of spread the positive word of what you are doing as a business. So obviously, if you don't have an email list and you don't have any Facebook page, how do you build and how do you get those followers? So there's a few different elements that we want to talk through on this point. And the first element here is, in marketing, people often say that the money is in the list. And so if you don't have an email list, if you don't have, a Facebook page, and you don't have your prospects or your existing clients' email addresses, then how do you contact them? How do you follow up with them? And so if you don't have an email list, start today. MailChimp is a great platform that you can start gathering email addresses by. You can add a MailChimp widget to your Facebook page. You can add a MailChimp widget to your website. Facebook also has some other elements that you can have people like your page. But for MailChimp specifically, it's a great platform. It'll typically allow for, I believe the free account is 2,000 people can sign up for your mailing list and send out like a monthly email list to your customers. And, if you have a business that has regular customers coming back to you, reminding them about you or the services you offer or why you're in business or why you love doing what you're doing just continues to remind them why they made the right decision and why they should come back and spend more money with you in the future. If you don't have a Facebook page, start your Facebook page today. That's your to do for today. Facebook.com, I think it's /pages. And you can create a Facebook page today, create a Facebook page for your business. Um, Ask all of your customers to like your Facebook page, whether you are an established business and have a Facebook page with thousands of followers, or you're a brand new business and you don't have a Facebook page at all. Ask all your customers to like that. Ask them, for me, we'll ask our clients, hey, if there's any, other business owners that that you think might be a good fit for us, send them an email, ask them to like our Facebook page, invite them to like the page, and make sure they get in contact with us. Oftentimes, your clients and your customers are the biggest advocates for your business that so many business owners forget about. Okay, so let's step back for a second. Let's review, where are we at? So first, you're going to claim your Google business listing if you haven't done that. Update Google business listing. Add photos to your listing. We're going to get more reviews on Google, Facebook, and Yelp. And all of these things are going to increase the visibility of our businesses online. And then in addition, there's so many other listing websites and directory sites that are out there. There's industry specific ones. There's super hyper local ones. For example, like the Nextdoor app. A lot of small communities have that app. You can add your business there and then make sure the address and that information is correct. And people can recommend your business on the Nextdoor app then, and they can share your business there. Build an email list and make sure you have or build a Facebook page. So this is one of the big key elements here. Why start today? You want to get started. Let's face it, as soon as you log off this webinar, you're going to go check your email, take a call, make lunch, or do something that makes you totally forget everything I just talked about. And if you're not going to do this, that's fine. Just at the end of the webinar, drop the name and the phone number of your competitor. I'll give them a call, tell them they're never going to market, and then they can take all your market share. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm joking. But no, seriously, like, if you don't start today, then when are you going to get started? I know this webinar, is talking a lot about, free marketing tactics, but free marketing tactics only work if you actually implement them. So if you don't start today, when are you going to start? You're going to start tomorrow, next week, next month, next year? We just ended out a decade. You're going to start next decade? It's really about actually applying what you're learning. So I know this webinar is specific and the title is specific about free ways to market your business online. I want to take a slight tangent and talk a little bit about a few paid options. Now, I will note this is the only slide about paid options that are there. These are stuff that my company offers and many other web design and marketing firms. And so one of them I already alluded to, what's called a NAP update. It's a directory listing update. And so there's listing sites like Google, Bing, Yellow Pages, Yelp, all these different business directory sites. You can manually go through and add your business to every single one, or you can pay a service, pay a company like us, and we will go through and just do all of that for you. We'll find them all, set them all up, make sure all the hours are right, and do all of that for you. Obviously, again, this is something that you can totally do yourself, but it's also something that, if you don't have the time to do so. Search engine optimization, or often referred to as SEO, is basically the ability to rank higher on Google for the keywords and the terms you want to show up for. Reputation management is ensuring things like, you don't have a 2-star rating on Google. And we actually take email addresses and phone numbers of our customers or of our customers, and then we will reach out to them via email and text messaging and ask them for feedback about the business to help encourage higher reviews and more reviews about a business. Facebook ads are a great element as well. Facebook marketing is really great, really helps with visibility on Facebook. Google ads, and we provide Facebook and Google managed ad services. Content creation, we offer content creation services that just helps. If you currently have a website that's 5 pages and your site goes from 5 to 50, your site's now 10 times as big, which means if the content is of quality, then that means that there's a 10 times more likelihood your site's going to be found. We also offer web development services and a bunch more. I will definitely, in the email that I send out after the webinar, like I said, I'll have a call link there. You can book a call to chat through any of this stuff, including helping set up your Google directory listing. But also, if you want to chat about any of our services, you're, obviously more than welcome to do so. So awesome. I'm going to open it up to any questions. I've, really gone through mass amount of information. So feel free, if you have any questions, you can either pop those in chat, or if you do have audio on your computer, feel free. You should be able to unmute yourself and then ask those questions there as well. Awesome. Cool. If oops, let me make sure this chat is working. There we go. Cool. My chat totally just glitched out and closed. Awesome. If anybody hit any questions, go ahead and reshare that. It looks like my stuff just closed on my side. I apologize about that. And if you're attempting to talk, you may want to message me because it looks like it's not going to allow people to unmute themselves. So awesome. Cool. Perfect. Well, I will be sending out, like I said, sort of a summary element of the how to claim your listing. And then I will also send out a link to allow for people to book a call with me. And then if anybody has any further questions, definitely go ahead and reach out. And Hope everybody has a great rest of their Saturday. And thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. Awesome. Oh, there we go. How do we handle negative reviews? Yeah, so negative reviews are definitely an element that any business is going to get, and sadly, it might be that there's a few scenarios you're going to get negative reviews for. One is someone mis misunderstood your business. Maybe it was that there's another business in another city that has a similar name, and that other business left, just did a terrible service. Maybe your business, you're a service-based business and you had a vehicle breakdown and the person whose house you were supposed to be at is just not understanding. In reality, life happens. We're human. And so typically what we recommend is responding politely to that person, um, and, just basically apologizing, attempting to make that situation right. I will say if I'm looking for a local business and I see, 20 5-star reviews and a single 1-star review, except the business owner made an attempt to make the situation right. Um, you know, it's definitely something that, um, I see as something that I sort of not necessarily discredit the review entirely for me personally, but it's something that I look at and go, okay, the business owner is aware of it. They've attempted to correct the situation, um, to make that right. For our service for reputation management, we actually have a service that basically what we do is when that email goes out to to your client, we actually ask them in that email if you provided a good or a bad service. And so basically it's thumbs up, thumbs down type situation. If they say bad, we actually send them to a web form that says, hey, what did they do, that didn't meet your standards? Now, I will note that Google and Yelp both say that that is considered what's called review gating. And so what we have to do is below that web form, we do have to leave the link to go to Google and go to Yelp. But because you're making an effort to try to correct the situation proactively, typically what happens is that person will reach out to you via that web form and they will attempt to, you know, have some sort of a conversation about it. Now, at the same time, I will say that we've seen clients of ours who've had customers that just don't care. Like, you know, something happened and they just don't care. Literally, the business owner could give them $10 million and there's nothing that the business owner could do right to fix the problem. Um, and those are just sort of reviews that you have to live with as a business owner. However, I will say if you've got 30, 40, 50, 60, 5-star reviews and one negative, again, it's sort of majority wins here. If there's overwhelming evidence that your business is amazing, then that one negative review isn't going to really be a huge issue. It really is an issue if you only have one 5-star review right now and you get a negative review. So yeah, shoot me an email. I respond to my email. I can run a like review assessment against your business to sort of see across every single review site and maybe even review sites you don't know you're listed on. I can run an assessment across all of those and sort of get a snapshot of where you are currently, and then what's some recommendations for you to do. Not only I will, here's one or two free ideas that you can do, but then also something that might be a paid solution as well. Second question, for online businesses, do you still need to claim your Google Maps listing if there is one? If you have an online business and you've filed a LLC or DBA, depending on where you live, you have a Google Maps listing. I would search your business name, especially if you've registered a phone number to the business. Search that and see if you can find your map listing. If it shows up, please claim it. The last thing you want is your competitor to do so. We actually have a client who they had not claimed. I think it was it wasn't Google listing. I think it was a Bing listing, and someone else was actually able to claim it and change the phone number, and it was a competitor. And so I would always recommend for you to claim your Google Maps listing. For my business, we do not have a client-facing brick and mortar. Our team typically works either from home or a home office type situation, pretty much throughout the week. And so we don't really have a client-facing office. We don't have a physical address on our Google Maps listing. We have a service area. And so we service the general Southern California area is our primary target when we're marketing. But we do service pretty much all the US. So I would say yes, if you have an online business, I would recommend having a Google Maps listing. It definitely helps. You will show up in the Google Maps search a little bit more. Also, if it's a business, K7, is your business do you have I'm not sure what the business was, what business type? Let's see. I don't know if you should. No, you did not. If you happen to have a more centered. Okay, so photography. Okay, so you're an online business, but you have a service area. So for you, I would say, put your service area in and then also your general larger area on Google Maps. I can help you with that if you need. Just again, respond to my email. So I would say yes, because you have a geographic area you service. Now, if a client of yours says, "Hey, I want to fly to, New York or Japan or wherever," and the money is right, you probably go with them. But for the most part, you probably have a geographic service area. So I would say, because you do have a little bit of that, yes, I would definitely recommend having a maps listing. How fast should someone see changes once making modifications recommended here? It really depends on the business type. If it's a brick and mortar, we've seen changes as fast as 30 days. And some of this stuff that we're talking about has been seen, within a few weeks. Some of the data that we're talking about is from a company called Bright Local, who does a lot of research on this. And Leon, if you let me know or send me an email with the business type and stuff, I can provide you some data on some specifics. I know we have a hotel client. I can't show their Google listing. Yeah, I can't share their Google listing necessarily, but I know that I would have loved to have shared their listing today. They have about 80,000 views on their photos in a given month. It's absurd. Um, and so hotels are very, very, very high on the view spectrum. And so, it's the travel industry. Anything in the travel industry is very, very, very high. So cool. Awesome. I'll hang out here for a few more minutes if anyone has any questions. But like I said, if you have any questions, tomorrow afternoon, you're just sort of reviewing through and something pops into your head, feel free to reach out. I'd love to be a resource for anyone on the call. Yeah, and for those of you who are still left on the call, I am planning on starting to do some other webinars on, a little bit of a semi-regular basis. So I will definitely keep everybody posted, and I am, um, you know, definitely making sure that there's, a lot of this type of stuff that you guys can do on the front end, and stuff that you can do for free with, like I said in my description initially, like zero zero coding knowledge type stuff. Like this is fairly straightforward, should be relatively easy to manage information. And so I'm looking at continuing to do webinars like this on a regular basis, probably like once a month, just to help to continue to help small businesses out. And, if it's something that, anybody wants to hop on a call, always willing to do that. Awesome. Cool. So my last thing is put this in action. I would love to have everybody, put this in action, and here in, a month, 2 months, um, you know, to hear from you guys. And as you guys are starting to do this, love to hear that. So awesome. Cool. Well, I think that's pretty much it that I have. For those of you who are still on, thank you for hanging out with me for an hour. And I will be following up here fairly soon with a link to the recording and that other email that I have been noting continuously. The recording will probably take a little bit longer. This is a real live webinar. And so I actually have to process and edit that. I just got to edit the front off of it basically, and then upload it and then send out the link. So that may not get done today. But that will happen eventually, probably by Monday. So cool. Awesome. Well, that is about it.